He's a two-time cancer survivor. He's a TEDx speaker. He's an inspirational life changer. He's a dear friend of mine. I met him at an event in Florida, in Miami, and he's been such a wonderful friend. He's selfless, giving back all the time. David Octavio Gondel. Are you on the call, David? Can you say hello to the audience? David, you're muted, buddy.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for being on this call, David. I have known you for some time, and I know that you have a very interesting story, and I want people to know you and your story, and how much positivity this man has, guys. I cannot believe it. And he's selfless. He doesn't, the money can't change anything for him. He's nothing, like money is nothing he's always driven by how he can make children's life better, how he can help other people. So David, take the floor and tell everybody, give them your story first, and then tell everyone what you do.
First of all, I want to say thank you for what you're doing today, taking a moment out to share stories from all of you, from Paul, from Jeff, from the doctor, from your partner. Everyone today has a story. My story, before I go into kind of my testimony, I remember 9/11, and in such a way, to the point that it really was one of the transforming days of my life, I would say. I was running health clubs in Tampa, and I remember that I was on my way to the gym, and I got to the gym and everybody was standing watching television. Nobody was working out. Nobody was at my front desk. And I remember walking in and people in tears and just watching the TV screen and seeing the airplane go right back. And I just couldn't believe what was happening. It was a day that I never really expected. One of the reasons I said yes for this event, Craig, was because both of my parents were veterans. My dad was in the Korean War in the front line. He just passed away 2 years ago, but he represented our country. And I remember the funeral, one of the most patriotic days of my life. It really meant something to me, the way they honored my father at the funeral. And my mom was a captain in the Army during the Vietnam War. So both of my parents are veterans, and both of my parents were born in Puerto Rico. I was born in Puerto Rico. So for me, I was born into freedom. I was born into, even though we're not a state, I was born into this state of just, hey, I can come and go without a visa, without a passport. I can come and go to Disney World at the age of 5 and not have to go through anything. So I did not know the amount of freedom that I had. I did not know that other people were coming to this country and had so many challenges just to be here. How many immigrants came to this country just to be here, just to have a chance to start a new life, to have a business, to have just a lifestyle, correct? And I mean, people like you that just absolutely honor the people where you come from through even your businesses. So that's how we met. We met through a business seminar, but it was an amazing experience. I was speaking there, and I remember that day you spoke and you shared your story. But for me, 9/11 just was a way that I ended up really realigning my life and saying, what do I really want to do? Do I want to stay here? I moved that year to South Beach, actually. Christmas of that year, I made a move. I walked away from 3 gyms at the age of 25. And I decided I'm going to go after my dreams. Now, yeah, my dreams changed a lot, Greg, because I'm a cancer survivor. My life changed again just a few years later. But it was interesting how 9/11 was a day that I remember feeling like I've never experienced this. This is what my parents fought for in war, so then we don't have to go through it here, but yet we are. And I just love that all of you have shared your own experiences. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Thank you,
Um,
David. That is very
just a thought.
emotional. Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's a
very
thought that I
emotional. And
can't.
mhm.
Yeah, I can't even I can't. You know, it's one of those things. I go back and I'm like, how did that really happen? It's almost like a movie. You don't even want to believe that it did, but it did. But I would say this, as you have this amazing platform today with these amazing people that are taking their time out of their busy schedule, like Jeff said, we're working harder now than we ever have.
Correct.
I am doing multiple projects while I'm still trying to take care of my nonprofit and still trying to take care of other people. And I would say that the one thing that I would take out of that was that everyone came together. All I remember was all the amazing stories of how many people served others, how many people gave food to others, how many people sheltered others. I remember a whole year of just watching inspirational, amazing stories of people selfless giving. Didn't matter the race, didn't matter the age, didn't matter the culture, didn't matter the atmosphere they came from or the environment they came from. Nothing mattered during that time, except we were as Americans coming together and saying, whatever you need, we got you. And I pray, even though we're in this pandemic, which is a total different thing, but I pray that people look back at today and maybe get a feeling of, hey, what are we doing? Why are we fighting? Why are we not listening? Why can't we just go forward and say, let's help each other? Let me help you first. I've always said, be a blessing first. The blessing doesn't always come from the person you bless. The blessing always comes from God. So I would say, just you be a blessing. And if you be a blessing, God will bless you through that person or through anyone else. But you always have to be obedient. And, you know, as I'm doing all these amazing interviews and shows and these things, the one thing that just is in my spirit to share with everyone today is that it's like we need to remember today for what it really was. It was a day that everyone came together no matter what. And everyone started to listen to each other. And I hope, and I'm sorry I got emotional, but it's just how I feel. It's a day that I just saw everyone coming together and listening. Doesn't matter what political thing you are, I don't care. It's you need to get educated. That's number one. And secondly, you need to listen to other people's perspective. I never knew what not having freedom was until later on in life through other people's experiences. And I was good enough to listen to them, their story, and why they felt the way they did. And then I was able to look inside myself and say, okay, how can I change this? Or how can I be better for other people? And then I go through cancer, like you said, like you opened up with that. And when I got diagnosed with cancer, God revealed a purpose in my life. And that purpose was to be a blessing to other people, to share my testimony. As you see the picture behind me, I don't know if you can see it, but I was 124 pounds on August 25th, 2006. That was my second battle with cancer.
Yeah, I remember you and I, we were talking about it, about, you know, how you were given, like, I don't know if you said it was literally a few days, you know, that, you know, maybe a week or something, or I don't know, that picture when you showed me that, and you said that, Craig, you know, when I took this picture, they said you have what was it, a week?
3 days to live.
3 days.
Actually,
3 days to live.
That picture was taken 3 weeks after I was given 3 days to live. I was, on the first weekend of August, I was in the hospital in the emergency room following the first weekend of August, Tuesday. And for those 3 days, my case became this thing. Everyone knew my case study in the United States, every major doctor. And on that Friday, they just gave me 3 days to live. They put me on morphine to die. And that same day, Dr. Benedetto from Sylvester Cancer Miami called So what are you going to do with them? And he says, we don't know. I said, well, if you're not going to do anything with them, send them down to Miami. I have a cocktail that I want to try. And the cocktail basically is a medical term to, it's different types of chemos. In this case, it was 4. And so I basically got on an ambulance on morphine and went to Miami to the hospital. And that night I met him and I said, listen, God's going to heal me. You're the instrument. So let's go. You got this. And he looked at me like I was out of my mind. He says, we're in uncharted waters. You're covered with cancer from your pelvic region to your chest. We have no idea how to treat you. I just have a cocktail that I want to try on you. Okay. So I'm going to be this little, I'm going to be a test. Yeah. I'm going to be just
a guinea pig. Yeah.
Yeah. A guinea pig for you. And 3 weeks later, I woke up at 124 pounds. And I shaved my head that day. And whatever was left of my hair. I used to have long hair, Craig. You have no idea. So I have long hair. We just talked about it with all these people that remember me from back in the day. And shaved my head, pointed up at God, smiled, and I took a picture. And I made a promise that day. I said, God, you healed me. I'll tell your story until the whole world hears. Just give me my life. And I found purpose. So, the Bible always talks about this story of David and Goliath. And I love how people always compare me to that and say Goliath was Goliath was cancer, basically. And people, I always look at it in a way where it's interesting. David would never have been David if it wasn't for Goliath. Goliath revealed his purpose. So my purpose was revealed through cancer. I would have kept living my life, Craig. I would have kept being a business consultant. I would have kept speaking about, health and wellness. I ran health clubs. I ran 11 Goals gyms in my life. I ran multiple gyms. I've opened studios. I've trained trainers. I've coached, speakers and all these, that's great. I could have kept doing that. But when I get this diagnosis and I get this promise and I get this purpose, all of a sudden it's like, okay, if tomorrow is my last day, how am I going to live today? We all talk about legacy, especially in sports. I'm a sports guy. So there's no debate for me. Is it Michael Jordan or is it? No, it's Michael Jordan. That's it. That's the best player ever. If it's this person, whatever, again, there's a legacy. And we wake up and we're born. We know we're going to die someday. But we still are fearful of dying. Now I'm not fearful of dying because now I'm alive. I'm having I'm living a bonus life, Craig. And you know what? I'm grateful that I got to meet a man like you. I would have never met you.
I know. Thank you.
Because by me sharing my story, you share your story about your country and about what you do for children that can't eat if it wasn't for someone like you. And all of a sudden, it's like I connected to a human being that I know that for the rest of my life, man, he's got me. I'm a brother. I'm a friend, and that's going to happen no matter what. And when you said, hey, we're going to do this thing today, and I want to talk about freedom, and I want to talk about service, and I start with my parents who served the country. I start with everyone that helped me, all the nurses that I'll never be able to thank properly, the doctors, when I woke up from the surgery, the 12-hour surgery, they removed every tumor out of my body. Took 12 hours, and they said, you're cancer-free. And as I sit here in front of all of you today, I just celebrated being 13 years cancer-free on July 11th as an anniversary. But it reminds me that on 9/11, just 2 months later, I literally saw and witnessed people come together in a way that I've never seen in my lifetime. And my prayer for everyone today is that we remember that day, but not only do we remember, but we act. We act like there is no tomorrow and start forgiving people and start listening to people and start giving to people and start looking for ways to be a blessing and be of service. I promise you, just like people saying Christmas is better to give than to receive. Yes, because the feeling that you get when you give something that is needed by someone else, all of a sudden you feel this thing inside of you that you don't even know how to describe it. And that's your spirit. And that's why when I speak, I always say a prayer that God, give me the words to speak. Let my spirit show. Why? Because I want everyone to understand where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a source of basically being so grateful to be alive today that there's nothing else that's going to stop me, no matter what doubt or fear. Doubt and fear don't come from God. Just want to let you guys know, ladies and gentlemen, doubt and fear do not come from God. But strength and courage comes from actually going through the process. You'll never know how strong you are unless you go through it. You'll never know how courageous you are unless you actually go after it. I was going through my notes yesterday and I was, thinking about today. And people say that in order to I wrote something about in order to live your dreams, you need to chase it. And I also remember listening to my father. My father never dreamt of being in a war. My father never dreamt of being in Korea. My father never dreamt of being in the front line and basically saying, I could die here. But he did it because he saw a way for him to be able to live other dreams. So in order to chase it, sometimes you have to do things that you don't really dream about, but you have to go through. I never believed that cancer was something that I had to go through. But when I went through it and I found out what God could do through me, I would never take it back. Because all the dreams I had, Craig, all came true after cancer.
Mm-hmm. You're
I
such a
mom,
beautiful, yeah, you're
listen,
such a beautiful soul, man. You're such a beautiful, lovely soul, and all your emotions are coming out, and we all can see it. Your parents, your story is just so powerful, David. I could sit here and feel you across as if there is no barrier, as if you're sitting in front of me, and I can feel your emotions. And you're so right. You dropped so many powerful words here that you go through. You grow through what you go through. Your struggles are what makes you who you are, and you would not replace that cancer with anything else because all your dreams came true because of that. I mean, you were 3 days away from leaving this place, and here you are, and you're sitting in front of us 13 years cancer free, and so much positivity that you have. I'm just overwhelmed with all the love that you've been pouring. And brother, I tell you one thing, that if there is any epitome of positivity, it is you. You have a great presence, and your soul is very, very transparent, and keep sharing the light. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing for children. I want to know that. I know you have
yeah,
a foundation. Yeah.
that was a miracle too. So, as I sat in my bed going through chemo, I wrote down, everybody has like this, list or bucket list or whatever. I didn't have a bucket list. I was just fighting to live. But I wrote these things down I felt like God just put in my heart to say, hey, these are the things that you're going to accomplish. So, going to write your book, going to do your documentary, you're going to speak around the world. You're going to do a nonprofit for children with cancer. I love children. I don't have any. I have a goddaughter who I admire and love, and she's everything. But children with cancer, and I love kids, and I used to go. But the reason, Craig, was because when I used to go see the kids, they were fearless. A lot of these kids didn't even know what it is to feel good. They've been sick their whole lives. But yet, if you can get them distracted just for a second and give them joy and give them a smile or do. So I had these plans that I want to do, and I want to bring like superheroes to the hospital, and I want to do all these fun things. But anyway, so Life Changes for Life, I wrote it down, and it was the number 4 actually represents something is the Holy Spirit, the Trinity, and me. So I can't change anyone without God, and God is using me to change. So the number 4 is Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and me. So those are the number 4. It does have a meaning. So I said, I'm never going to do a foundation. My father passes away. First thing my mom says, Craig, is you're doing your foundation. Your father wanted you to.
Mm.
You've been talking about it and you've been helping everyone else. You need to do this because you have plans. So I said, okay, call my accountant. People are telling me, Craig, it takes years for them to get a nonprofit. Brother, right before my dad's birth, what would have been my dad's birthday, February of last year, I get the email, Life Changes for Life, 501c3, miracle. So now I've had it for a year. Yes, all the events have been canceled. Yes, I haven't been able to fundraise. That's okay. God, listen, God will provide. I have no doubt. So now what I'm doing, I'm printing shirts. I'm giving these shirts to the little kids. It says, I can do all things, which is my life verse, Philippians 4:13. I put strength in the back of the shirt with a little logo, Life Changes for Life. And I just give them a little gift bag. And then I go visit them. I pray with them and things like that. And then I also do women empowerment. And I started 5 years ago doing a series that I wrote after coaching over 100 women. And now after coaching over 200 women, I do a conference, My Purpose 2020, which I'm doing virtual, but still, listen, I'm going to keep doing it as long as God tells me to. So yeah, so empowering women and inspiring kids. And, it's a very unique life, Craig, from being a gym owner, gym partner, gym manager, personal trainer. Trust me, very, very different than what I
Totally,
expected. So, but yeah, I
I
mean, kiss with
totally,
kids.
yeah. Hmm.
Yes. So yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
today is just a blessed day, man. I'm so grateful you added me to your amazing. You have a great lineup. Everybody did amazing. Paul, I love everything you said. Jeffrey spoke from the heart. I like when he speaks from the heart. And the doctor you had on, everybody, and then your partner, of course, and everyone you had on. So it's just been a blessing to be part of it. And I hope that when people listen to I hope people listen. I just hope that when people watch this, they listen and not try to deny what they're saying, but just listen to them, because there's a message always in between. And maybe, you'll pick it up and you'll be like, okay, you know what? I need to change this about my life. I need to look for this. I need to educate myself. I need to look for ways of getting more knowledge or gathering more knowledge and learning about other people. That's what we do, right?
Absolutely, brother. You have said it so right. It's all about learning. It's all about giving back. I mean, people. I can't tell you. I mean, how humbled I am for all these incredible people to give their time. And I want to thank you all too. Sticking around and spending your Friday morning with us, and listening to us, and allowing us to give some information, and especially the speakers to give some wisdom. But wisdom is not wisdom if you just listen and don't adopt or don't follow or don't act on it, right? You have to act on it. You have to take action. Whatever you learn from them, you implement that in your life, whether it's helping somebody or whether it's somebody might be inspired by Paul and say, okay, I'm going to serve the military or the Navy or the Air Force, and I want to give I mean, that's a great thing. If that's what you've been thinking about all your life, then go out and do that. If someone's wanted to be an entrepreneur and want to follow Jeffrey Hazlett or Cash, Rastan, do that. If someone wants to be in, change the world and come out with a vaccine, meet with Mac Javadekar, but go do it. Send them a friend request, friend them. Or if someone wants to change lives of people and people in cancer, meet David. And really, truly, I've met all these people in person, except for Paul. I think we met once at the New York C-suite at the World Trade Center, the new building. Yes. And I've had such great memories with all these people. They're fantastic human beings, and they have made difference in people's life. I always say, draw a line, put faith, foundation, family, fidelity,
Come on.
finances, fitness, food, frugality, future, fortune, freedom, fruition.
Woo!
All these F words that you should remember that are amazing, amazing. It will change your life. Dream big. Don't dream small, dream big. Set a goal, make a plan, and then do it. Right? This is the most powerful country. This is the What an amazing democratic country we have here, and land of opportunity. Make use of this life that God gave you, and take a leap of faith. What's going to happen? What's the worst thing that can happen, right? So you don't be successful, or you didn't fail in you failed in what you're doing. Isn't failure good? Failure is great because it teaches you every day that you improvise from it. But that's pretty much it. You have the power to change your trajectory, you know of your life at any time, at all given time. You have this power. So don't come up with excuses, or don't say anything like, just be a doer, not a wishy-washy wisher. How do you say that? Wishy-washy wisher. Yeah. Don't be a wishy-washy wisher. Be a doer, right? From that, I thank you all for being on this call. I love you all. We celebrate, this day in the memory of those who laid their lives. Be the life changer, as David says. Wish you all the very best. Wish you all very, a healthy, a great weekend to come, and great many months and years to come. Wish you all be blessed. Stay connected. Help somebody. Go help somebody. Do that for me, or do that
Amen.
for yourself. Help one person if you can. Do much. Just do that. And I thank you all for being on this call. Thank you, Paul, Mac, Jeffrey, Cash, and David, for showing us the light. And I love you all. Thank you always. Have a great day.
I can win. This won't break me down. Gotta be strong. Gotta carry on. Can't give up. Keep holding on. Do this. Chosen, destined to survive.
To reach me is very simple. Go to davidgandel360.com. And like I always say, find hope, have faith, and live every day with purpose.